Hello students, I'm here again with another video for biology class 9. In this video we are going to study about cell wall. So we know that cell wall is present in some organisms only. So let us study in detail about the cell wall. So first of all we'll talk about the introduction to cell wall. So what is a cell wall? A cell wall is a structural layer surrounding some types of cells just outside the cell membrane. It can be tough, flexible, and sometimes rigid. It provides the cell with both structural support and protection and also acts as a filtering mechanism. So this is about the cell wall. What is it? It is a structural layer which is present just outside the cell membrane. It can be tough, flexible, or it can also be very strong. Being strong, it can provide protection. It can also provide support, and it also acts as filtering mechanism. Now, moving on to the discovery of cell wall. So, as we know, Robert Hooke is credited with the discovery of cells. So, in the same way, Robert Hooke is also credited with the discovery of the cell wall. Why? Because what he had observed were hexagonal compartments of dead cork cells, and dead cells do not have cytoplasm. So, he had just observed what? The cell wall of those plant cells. Moving on, now we will see where are this cell wall found. So cell wall is present in all prokaryotic cells except mycoplasma. It is also present in plants and fungi. So students, here we'll be talking about the composition of the cell wall. So we have already seen that different organisms have cell wall. So we'll be talking about the composition of cell wall in these different organisms. First of all, talking about prokaryotes. So in prokaryotes, the cell wall is composed of peptidoglycan, whereas in fungi, it is composed of chitin, which is a homopolysaccharide. Then, talking about plants. In plants, the cell wall is composed of cellulose, which is a homopolysaccharide of glucose, hemicellulose, which is a heteropolysaccharide. It also contains pectin, which is a heteropolysaccharide, water, lipids, and proteins. So this is about the composition of the cell wall present in different organisms. So we can see here that the cell wall present in different organisms have different composition. Also, some extra substances such as chitin, suberin, lignin, and pectin might be present in the cell walls of different organisms. Next, we'll be talking about plant cell wall in detail. So the cell wall present in the plants is arranged in three layers. First of all, we have primary cell wall, then we have middle lamella, and then we have secondary cell wall. So let us deal with all these three layers one by one. So talking about plant cell wall. So here you can see the arrangement of all these three layers. So we can see that here we have different cells. You can see we have cell 1, cell 2, and cell 3. So first of all, talking about the layer that is present between two adjacent cells. So here you can see this is the layer that is present between two adjacent cells, which is known as middle lamella. Moving to the inside now. So next you can see adjacent to this we have primary cell wall. After primary cell wall we have secondary cell wall or secondary wall, and then just after secondary cell wall we have the plasma membrane. So this is how the three layers are arranged. So we have one more picture which is showing the different layers how they are arranged, and it is also showing the composition of these different layers. Moving on students, here we'll be talking about primary cell wall in detail. So this primary cell wall is closest to the what? to the inside of the cell and is the first formed cell wall. It is composed mainly of cellulose, and this presence of cellulose in large amount provides the cell elasticity. That is, cells are able to stretch themselves for the purpose of growth since they are composed of cellulose. Next, several primary cells contain peptide polysaccharides and structural proteins also. In the previous slide, we have seen the different composition of different cell layers. So you can refer to that to see what these peptide polysaccharides and proteins are and how they are arranged. Next, it is comparatively permeable and thinner than other layers. So this is about the primary cell wall, which is present until the cell is growing. Once the cell has stopped growing, then primary cell wall will start forming the other layer, that is the secondary cell wall. So moving on, students, now we'll talk about the next layer, that is the secondary cell wall. So this layer is the secondary cell wall is a structure found in many plant cells located between the primary cell wall and the plasma membrane. So where is it found? It is present between the primary cell wall and the plasma membrane. So the cell starts producing the secondary cell wall after the primary cell wall is complete and the cell has stopped expanding. So as I have told you that once the cell has grown completely, now there is no chance for the cell to grow more. So now the primary cell wall start forming secondary cell wall. In the beginning, during the growth phase, the primary cell wall is closest to the plasma membrane. But as the cell has completely grown and matured, so the primary cell wall will start forming secondary cell wall and it will move away. Okay. Next, the cell starts producing the secondary cell wall after the primary cell wall is complete and the cell has stopped expanding. This is what I have already told to you. Secondary cell walls provide additional protection to cells and rigidity and strength to the larger plants. This is the role of the secondary cell wall. Now these walls are constructed of layer sheets of cellulose microfibrils, wherein the fibers are in parallel within each layer. The inclusion of lignin makes the secondary cell wall less flexible and permeable to water than the primary cell wall. So since lignin is also present along with cellulose, that's why this layer becomes less permeable and also it is less flexible. So this is why this layer is less flexible. Okay, now moving on, so we'll be talking about the next layer, last layer, that is middle lamella. So this middle lamella is also the outermost layer and it acts as an interface between the other neighboring cells and glues them together. So if this is one plant cell, this is another plant cell. So middle lamella is present between these two cells. Okay, and it is the outermost layer out of the three layers that we have studied. So this layer primarily consists of pectins. However, other substances such as lignin and proteins can also be found. So here you can see where what middle lamella will be. So here we will have all this is middle lamella, this part, which is gluing or it is acting as a cementing material, keeping the cells together. Last but not the least, we'll be talking about the channels that are present between the two adjacent cells, or which the channels or pores that are present in the cell wall. So these pores are known as plasmodesmata, or they are also known as plasmodesma. So these are small channels that directly connect the cytoplasm of neighboring plant cells to each other, establishing living bridges between cells. So here you can see this is one cell wall of one cell. Then here we have cell wall of another cell. So you can see that there is a pore present between these two cells across the cell wall, and it is acting as a bridge between two adjacent cells. So this is only known as plasmodesmata. It is just similar to the gap junction that is present in the animal cells, and it penetrates through both the primary and the secondary cell walls, allowing the cells to exchange certain molecules from from cell to another cell. And it is also important for communication between different cells. So students, here we have reached at the end of this slides. At the end, we'll see the different functions of this plant cell wall. So the plant cell wall provides definite shape, strength and rigidity to the cell. It also provides protection against mechanical stress and physical shocks. It helps to control cell expansion due to the intake of water. It also helps in preventing water loss from the cell. It is responsible for transporting substances between and across the cell. It acts as a barrier between the interior cellular components and the external environment. So students, this is all. So thank you so much for listening to me patiently. Once again, thank you so much, students.